Hello everyone, this is Sam. In today's video we're gonna be actually having a look at my PvP results for the past season. Some of you guys have actually requested some PvP content, and while I am not a pro PvPer by any mean, I am gonna try to give to you guys some tips on how to get out of gold and maybe like a little bit into plat. So as I just said, I myself am not a very good player, so if you watch the tips, you're probably gonna be able to make it. Now, to give you just a heads up, the season is ending in 3 days, and I have actually managed to grind quite a bit in this season. I feel it is time to share the tips that I have used on myself with you guys, and this is a disclaimer of sorts. This is what worked for me. I am not sure it's going to be working for you, but I am hoping the best for you. Personally, I have gotten up to plat 3 on this account, and on my alt account I am on plat 2. My alt account has only played in this season, so like the elo that I got on it is the pure result of just doing the placement and then playing as best as I could on it. And then on this account I have actually tried a little bit harder. As you can tell from the win ratio, I am at 66% win ratio on it. That's pretty solid. I have like maybe not tried that hard, but actually given quite a bit of effort into the matches I have played. If you look also at the history of my matches, you can see that I played exclusively Necromancer. I'm going to be explaining that later on in the video. And I have 9 wins for 1 loss. This is actually quite representative of what I have usually. And then there's just that streak of like horrible games and then you just lose rating. But we're also going to be talking about these. So when it comes to the tips that I want to give to you guys, the first one is not to pick something OP, but instead to pick something you are good at. What I mean by that is relatively simple. Some people are gonna tell you, man, Mirage is so good right now, like you should be playing Mirage, or man, you should totally be playing a support Firebrand, you're gonna be able to carry your team to victory. But it's not that simple. You cannot simply carry a team to victory. You cannot do that. Similarly, you cannot simply expect anything that is OP or flavor of the month to be something that you're able to play. Like, we all have our specificities in our gameplay, and I myself know that there are some classes I just can't get around to. Mesmer, Thief, I cannot play them no matter how much I try, I'm just garbage on them. Like, it's not my thing. However, some classes are very easy to get into and to get some good results on. Like, for example, I played almost exclusively Power Reaper on this account and got to plat 3. This is as simple as it is. Just play something you can manage. Don't play something that seems particularly amazing to you. If you suck at everything, there is also a solution. And that solution is the second tip I'm going to be giving you. Analyze your mindset. Are you truly a solo queue person? Like, being a solo queue person, having that solo queue spirit, is you're just going to focus on your own gameplay. Like, you go into the game, you know that you have 4 more people with you, but there are just 4 more people. They're not your friends. They're not people you're going to be playing specifically with. Like, I know I am quite simplistic and quite centered around myself when I play PvP. I look at the map, I look at where my team is, I look at where the enemy is, I tell my team where the enemy is as well. Like, I communicate. I don't play like completely on my own, but I do play a fair bit of solo. And what I mean by that is that if I see that my teammate is engaging a fight with someone, and I think that that fight is lost, I'm not going to play into it. I'm just going to leave it. I'm playing for the caps that I know I can win. I'm playing in the matchups I know I can win. I do not engage something just to save a teammate or anything when I know I'm not going to make it. I don't sacrifice uselessly, and I think that this is quite important if you want to progress. So analyze your mindset. Are you more of a solo queuer? Are you more of a duo queuer? If you duo queue, is it like really playing together, trying to get something together with synergy? Or is it just really like 2 solo queuers who are just queuing together because they want to have 1 less brain-dead monkey on the team? That's my case. When I duo queue, I choose someone who can play on their own. because they can do their thing, I can do my thing. We have one less monkey on the team. We make win. That's also a very important thing when it comes to the mindset. You do not win. You do not lose. You make a win happen, or you couldn't prevent a loss from happening. It's as simple as that. Get the focus on what you want to achieve. What you want to achieve is a win, so go with the mindset that you're going to win. The third thing I want to tell you guys is a tip that I have gotten from watching streams, from being watched as I played, and from getting advice from better PvPers than I am. Mostly from Gros Chaton, a French streamer who plays Firebrand, Hybrid Firebrand. I've actually played mostly that on my alt account. Learn to bail. That's a game changer. Do not commit to a fight you're not gonna win. Same if you're being like pressured on a point, even if it's your cap. If you're pressured by like 2 versus yourself or 3 versus yourself, and nobody can rotate to come help you, because that's also important. Like, I'm gonna get to that later on. If nobody can come to help you, just leave. There is no use to dying on a cap, unless you need the ticks, because it's the end of the game and you're quite close. If it's somewhere near the start and middle of the game, just don't die. If you die, you give them points. Then they can snowball. Just regroup with your team. Leave. Just go. But then again, don't forget to commit either. If you are in a 2v1 situation, you're alone, 2 people are coming onto you, but then you see that your teammate, he's coming over. He's rotating for you. Don't leave. Come on. Don't do that. If someone comes to play with you, play with them. You can make it happen. Then, the next tip I want to give you, which is already the 4th one, is that even if you play only one class, like for example, I played only Power Reaper, I mean mostly Power Reaper. Even if you play only one class, please learn the tells of all the specs. Learn the sound triggers of all the specs. You can hear a Deadeye aiming at you. You can see when a Guardian is about to drop that hammer 2 on you. You can see all of these tells, learn them on all of the races, or just use the standardized models if you need to, but please, please, learn the tells. You will be able to dodge the worst attacks that you would otherwise be eating to the face. And this is going to boost your survivability and the quality of your gameplay by a lot. Then, the last tip I want to give you is another mind tip, because this is important. And like, the mind is particularly important when you play competitive game modes. Do not tilt. The best way to achieve that is what a friend of mine calls the rule of 3. It's all about making sure that even if you enter a tilt, you will not lose too much rating over it. So you play a first game. You're gonna win it or you're gonna lose it, right? Well, if you win it, you play a second game. If you lose it, you play a second game. That second game, if you're gonna win, that's good. You're win-win, you're on a win streak, keep going. If you lost the first one, lost the second one, then you're on a losing streak. You're just stopping there. You've lost twice. Anything you're gonna go from there on, if you keep playing, you're just gonna think, oh, but if I get a win, I need to get the last loss, and then I'm getting my rating back up, and it's all fine there. No. If you go into a match with the idea of catching up to a previous loss, you're only gonna do worse. If you lose and lose again, stop. Take a break. Go play PvE. Go play War vs. World. Go cook something in your kitchen. Just don't queue again. 2 losses in a row are 2 losses too many. Just stop. I'm serious. And then if you lost and won, that's alright. You can keep going. The main idea behind the rule of 3 is that whatever happens, there is only one scenario where you would play more than 3 matches, and that's if you get only consecutive wins. If you get at one point a loss, it's time to stop. Except if it's on the first or second and you had already a win to counter it. But yeah, just stop. That's very important. That's probably the most important tip out of these 5 tips that can get you into a better rating. Of course, this is the end of the season, so whatever I'm giving to you, you're going to be able to apply it onto the next season. Use the off-season to learn builds, to learn tells, to do all that stuff. You can play unranked, it's all good. You can learn stuff there, and you can also get your stupid achievements on the unranked maps, because we don't have them otherwise. But yeah, that's everything you need to know. And once again, with just these 5 tips, I got into Plat 3. This is completely doable by anyone. Like, I'm not a good player. and I made it here, so you can as well. And if it comes to duo queuing, like all the questions on comps, etc., you can probably ask some better players, but I found that for myself, since I want to be able to hold my own in a lot of matchups, maybe unfavorable ones, and I also want to be able to stall on a point, Power Reaper is good with me, and the best teammate to go with me would be a Power Spellbreaker. Because Spellbreaker is just going to be able to hold their own as well on another point, and if we regroup together, we're unstoppable. So, like, think about synergy when you pick your duo queue partner. That was it. I'm going to be leaving you with a little bit of Power Reaper gameplay so that you can see more or less what I do. And if you're curious about the build, it is quite simple. You can see the specializations here. And you can also see the equipment here. These are the sigils. There you go. It is very, very simplistic as a build. And the way you're supposed to play it is just use your wells to save people. Don't use them only on yourself. And that's it. I'm gonna leave you guys to the gameplay, and I hope that this video was interesting to you and that you got something out of it, that you're gonna apply this onto your own gameplay for the next season, and I wish every single one of you some happy games. Here you can see an example of what I mean by playing Power Reaper. It is quite easy and you should have no issue doing so. Since you have very low mobility, you should be taking the cap from a friend if they have more mobility than you. Here it is a guardian and he can go and help our other guardian who is fighting off point versus 2 enemies. He's coming back towards me, but he knows that there is a team fight going on and he's gonna commit to it. Since I myself am on the point and I know that I am close to the enemy respawn because it is far, I call that we need to play sides so that they will rotate back to me if I get outnumbered. I am now facing a Revenant. This is a fight I can commit to as long as I dodge the burst or use my shroud to mitigate it. Really, nothing hard. Power Reaper is one of these classes where you're being carried by the inherent bulk. The things that you need to pay attention to, however, are the targets called by your team. Here, the enemy Scourge. So we're killing him first in order to make sure that he cannot pull a rest on one of the enemies or kill us with the conditions. Cleaving the down body is a surefire way of doing the job, because that way we can also ensure that we are going to be getting some extra kills as the enemies will not be able to survive the combined cleave. Always commit to a fight if you know that you can make it. Like, I could have had a hard time if my team didn't come to help me on fire, but it's definitely something doable. If you communicate in the chat and also ask them what is going on when they are moving around the map, you are gonna have a way to beat the enemy. Here you can see that the enemy Scourge is going for the rest. I'm just disrupting it in order to get some good damage onto him. Always use your wells on top of the bodies that you want to cleave, because that's also going to be giving your team a way to come and get some cleave in as well. So here we are just going to be getting a lot of kills at the spawn of the enemy, because once we get one down, I have enough support to make sure that we can either commit to the cleave or commit to the stomp. This is how you can play Power Scourge in PvP. Once again, low plat games. This is very low effort game, and like, we're just slaying because the enemy isn't going to regroup or anything. Here I am looking at the enemy spawn and giving the info to my team that they are going for our close. That way my guardians can rotate and intercept the enemies, thus ensuring our triple cap remains a triple cap. I personally will be taking the fight against the enemy Reaper, because that's a fight I believe I can take, and also because he's using a very weird set of skills. Once again, using the wells as a way to protect myself. I wait until I have enough conditions on me before I use the well of power, but then again, I am completely fine, and just getting the CC is going to ensure that I get one of the kills. Here, I should have bailed if it was only a 1v2 situation, but I saw that one of my allies, a guardian, was coming to me, and I could try to get one of the kills on my own, or at least a down on my own, and then trying to get the second kill. Once again, what needs to be paid attention to is the movement of your teammates, and you commit only to the fights when you have someone who's gonna come and help you out. Yeah, we have properly defended Thar, and the other Necromancer is leaving us. That's a good example of how to make decisions and play Power Reaper, and I think I'm gonna be leaving it at that for this video. Hope that you guys have enjoyed it, and if you have any questions on what to do or any tips that you want to have for preparation to the next season, don't hesitate to ask them in the comment section. And I hope every single one of you is gonna be making amazing progress.